So today we have a great opportunity to talk to Mike Pino. Mike's our top new agent. Mike has recently come on board, coming from a total different industry, and today we really wanted to get some insight from Mike on, why he's doing what he's doing, how he's achieving the success he's achieving, and some of the things he's looking to accomplish now that he's made this career change. And Mike, welcome. How's everything going?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Joe. I'm excited.
Me too. I know you and I've had a lot of contact since you came on board, and I think you see I'm one of your biggest fans. I see what you're doing. I see how hard you're working, and it's great to kind of see someone come in and just have that drive and determination in the business. It's awesome to kind of see. I always like to start these with tell us a little bit about you, Mike, and maybe so we can learn a little bit about Michael Pino.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Joe. Mike Pino here, #1 agent here in, across Four Core Financial for Medicare at least. I started last August, knew nothing about insurance prior, a little bit on the auto side, but never really thought I would be in the insurance field.
You mean, Mike, hold on a second. You didn't grow up like when you were 5? You want to be like a baseball player or a pilot? You didn't want to sell insurance? Come on.
Didn't really think about that one too much. Come from a law enforcement background. My mother was on the law enforcement side as well as her uncle for many years. So that's what I went to school for. I went to Salve Regina out in Newport, went for criminal justice over there. My passion was to become a police officer. So that's what I did. Got on with Vernon Police Department. I lived down at Wallingford, so it was about a hike going up there. Things just changed so much in the police realm. Respect and just the daily operations of the job. I always wanted to do something where I was helping the community, something rewarding. And this is something that I've transitioned into in the insurance field with that. Between the police department, I always worked on boats all throughout college, and it just got old after a while, and I wanted to start something new. So it was about last April, met Tom Arisco, I can call one of my best friends now, that brought me into the business. So my fiance met his fiance at a school where they were both teachers at one time. Went out to dinner one time, we got chatting, and by the end of that summer, I was fully licensed and ready to go in the field.
Nice. Now, for you, you said you came from a law enforcement background.
I did.
And, so in that area, one of the things I think that, I always share with people is, everybody always kind of talks about law enforcement in the, kind of the sensationalism a lot of times of TV. And, to me, the relationship between what we do and law enforcement is very, very similar. The first thing police do is try to acknowledge the person and diffuse the situation. So
Sure.
Whether you're in a career path where you're trying to sell, or again, a situation where you come upon someone that's committed a crime, you want to defuse the situation, try to make it a peaceful outcome as best as you can, and that communication style coming over from law enforcement to what we do is, I think, amazing. And I've had a number of different people that have served in different branches of, the military and other folks that have come over from the law enforcement side. And you went in there, as you mentioned, to help people. That was kind of your goal. And, I know you said, my uncle was a police detective. My grandfather was a captain in the police. And so, Irish side of the family, go figure, right?
Yeah.
So, I know, my uncle who passed recently, he really wanted to help the community. He really wanted to kind of give back. And, kind of tell us a little bit. You mentioned a little bit, but what made you choose, like, coming over into insurance? I know you mentioned Tom, and we talked earlier about, this wasn't oh my God, let me run and do it. It took a little bit of time for you in talking to Tom to kind of make that mental shift career-wise. So what brought you over? What was kind of the deciding factor to say, you know what, this is something where I can help people. This is something where I could kind of give back.
Yeah, for sure. And, it did take me a while to think into it, because it is one of those things where growing up, I didn't come out of the womb saying I want to go into insurance. You know, it was always law enforcement for me. So I think that was really the biggest thing, just making that change. You know, and I think in the insurance field, we kind of see that there are a lot of folks that don't want to make a change, or, you know, a lot of us who use the line, we're not here to fix anything that's not broken. But I think siding with it, with the thought of getting into insurance and, you know, just taking it and running away, you know, with it was the best thing for me. So I think it was that we can offer not only just Medicare, you know, so protecting families on the life insurance side, protecting, or I should say, you know, helping folks reinvest, you know, that are recent retirees coming to their 401ks. We have those assets here, you know, with Four-Core. I mean, Joe and Vin help out with things like that. You know, I kind of looked at just helping seniors overall. I think it's rewarding. Everyone, you know, knows about the Medicare New book, or most people do, that comes in every year. In that book has a lot of different things that you have to do, a lot of things you have to consider based on the right plan, and what fits someone the most. So I think being able to explain that to someone and kind of take away the pain and confusion of how they should go about their whole retirement picture is rewarding. The other thing I liked too was when Tom and I first talked, he said that, you know, we do all home visits, and I can truly say that within my time here in this career field, I've never done anything, you know, over the phone except booking an appointment. So I think going there and helping someone beyond just what you're there for in the appointment. You know, I get a lot of questions from folks that are lonely, for example. They don't have any family around. How do I go about doing this? You know, who should I call, you know, for my auto insurance? So just having a wide network of help for folks and just going out of your way to help them is huge. And that was the biggest thing in law enforcement, going out of your way to help someone. That's truly, I think, serving the community.
Yeah, and, you know, you hit on a lot of points there. I think one of the first ones that I always like to talk about, you know, when I came over into the insurance industry, you know, I was doing well in the field I was in. I was actually making pretty good money and had an undergraduate master's degree, was in marketing. And, you know, you make a change in a career path to go into becoming an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur. You know, where we come from in the captive space, it's quasi, you know, you're a business owner, but you're really not. You know, you're acting as if, but you're not truly an entrepreneur. People are going to tell you not to do stuff like that. And I still remember, I won't name names, but I always kind of use my mom as an example, who I love dearly. You know, my mother was like, why would you go do something like that? You know, you're a highly educated person. And, you know, the people that generally are telling you not to do something have zero experience in that field or in that area. And when I listen to people today, and I listen to a lot of different entrepreneurs and a lot of different successful people, you know, I always say, if I'm going to do something, you know, if I needed to talk to someone today about a situation I was having that involved law enforcement, I would talk to Mike Pino, because you've been there, you've done it. But, you know, if someone's working in a career field and they have no experience running a business, being in a sales role, operating as an insurance person or with an insurance agency, that's not someone that I would dismiss their opinion on, but I would always want to go and talk to someone that actually has the experience. And then
Sure.
the second part that I think you really hit on, which you know, really kind of tells a lot about you as a person, is you're not looking for, and you haven't mentioned it, and you know, I don't talk of it, is, you know, I'm not in this field because the income potential is very, very strong. To me, that's a result of hard work. I'm in this field because when I came into the field, it was because I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And, you know, as we continue to build and grow, we're just impacting more people in Connecticut. And like you said, it's a soft landing. You know, you, as a police officer, you want the best result, but as an agent in running a business like this, is you want to protect the people from, if they get sick, not having the money to pay for it, not being able to get the care they want to do. And they look for you and have the trust in you. So as I understand, it's a lot about relationships, right? You're trying to build those relationships and foster those relationships, right?
100%. All about client retention in this business and showing someone that they can trust you. And you know, when it comes down to healthcare, there's a lot of risks that folks take. So I think showing them the right plan and just really the correct route to go, and you're not just there to make a commission off of them.
Yeah. No, and for you, I think I know the skills, but there's people that are going to watch this that are looking to make career changes. I think the number was 70-something% of people are unhappy in their career, but really don't know what to do about it. What skill sets do you think you have right now that are separating you from other people in our agency and in the space that we're in right now?
Sure. One of the biggest things coming into this business that I saw too, and a couple things that Tom had shared with me when we first met was, the income potential. And that was huge for me. I mean, I know you have to be happy with what you're doing and absolutely love what I'm doing. And it's not all about money, but, when it comes down to it, insurance pays the bills. And I think the renewal side of Medicare, really is building there. So coming into this business, I knew I wanted to grow my business in a certain amount of time. I sit down and I write down my goals, how many clients I want to have by a certain date, and I go out there and I do it. I think just making a goal and sticking to it, because consistency is the biggest thing in this business, and it works just like any other business. The more you invest into it, the more you get out of it. I'll tell you, there's times where I'm on the dialer 7 days a week. I just think staying active, and just going out in the field and showing folks that you're there to help them is the biggest thing. There are some tough days starting out in the business. You might have a day where you got 3-4 appointments and no one's there, right? But you just got to remember just helping folks and why you're out there to really go assist them. So I think just, again, staying consistent, consistent lead orders starting out if, referrals aren't pouring in, and, just setting a goal and sticking to it, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, and to me, as I said to you before, I'm one of your biggest fans here, and one of the reasons why is, first of all, you're humble, which I think is very, very important in this industry. But you came in here and you're flexible, you're adaptable, you're trainable, and then I always call it the dreaded 4-letter word, and many people in this industry don't understand that dreaded 4-letter word. It's not what you think like. That dreaded 4-letter word is work. And, coming in here, you're willing to put the time and effort into the business. And I don't know a lot about law enforcement, so I can't talk to that point. But I do know a lot about being in the corporate space before. I do know a lot about working for a captive agency where, people can show up but not work. People can pretend they're in the space and operating in that space, and sit in an office with a door closed for 8 to 10 hours a day, but really don't accomplish much. So you have that drive, that determination, and you're in early, you're working late, you're asking questions, you're again that part that I like to say with people is you're moldable, and those are some of the skill sets that I think you really have. So again, and I appreciate it. I see it day in and day out, and that's what separates you from people even that we have that have been in the industry a decade. They're just not putting in the time, and so it is that strong work ethic. It's trying to learn and grow every day. I think this is another thing that is so exciting about, and probably you could speak to it, but so exciting about changing career paths. It's a little scary, right, when you come over. And then to me, the other part of it is what's exciting is that there's this just massive amount of learning and knowledge that you can kind of bring in. Now, I know for you, why did you partner with Four-Core? I know Tom kind of could speak to that too, but what are some of the things you see working here with Four-Core that really have you excited about your future?
Yeah, so, one of the biggest things here is, Tom had started out with the former captive space, and I think just combined between you, Vin, Mike, Ian, a lot of the guys that have been in this business for a long time share similar and a lot of experience from a longevity standpoint. So I think having that combined experience there is huge. Partner with Innovative Financial Group, so through Forecor we can get a lot of contracts, if not all of them. I can't speak too much on the captive side because I don't come from that end of it, but being able to offer almost any company under the sun to a client and not pigeonhole them into a certain policy or a certain plan that you can only offer, I think is huge, because I think you're just looking out for the better
Absolutely.
side of the client there. So Forecor also offers a lot of trainings for folks that are looking to start out. Especially when I started, we hopped on some Zoom calls. Tom brought me out into the field a lot, and I think that's where I learned most of my knowledge that I have now. I'm more of a hands-on kind of person. I can't sit down and read a PowerPoint or a Quizlet. I need to see it in motion. So I think just the whole experience of just going out into the field, not being afraid to make a mistake, and just learn from some different types of situations was huge. So to wrap it up with Forecor, I think the biggest point to hit on is just the combined experience from everyone here. It just makes things a lot easier. Bringing on a new guy, I'm here to build a team. That's one of my goals. So to bring on a new guy and have the resources for contracting him, in a timely manner, the right types of trainings, having an office to come into, for meetings, meet with the client, or just come here and work and be in an office space instead of at home, I think is huge.
No, and thanks for that. I appreciate it. I think, when you look at entering any field, it's about scaling. It's about growing, it's about building, and it really comes down a lot of times infrastructure, and we joke and we kid around a lot about this stuff, but I've been in the business 24 years and I've made a lot of mistakes, and one of the things that, having that experience level is, you can help people to make less mistakes and help them grow and build. And I like what you kind of said about, people don't realize the value of administration and contracting and the behind the scenes things, and for us, having that infrastructure here at Forecor and having it with Innovative, having a group that we work with that can provide that value as well, makes it easier when you bring on a new person, or when you came on, Mike, to be able to focus on the tasks you need to focus on, which is learning the business, prospecting, building rapport, establishing credibility, and gaining clients with suitable solutions. So, I think that's really one of the difference makers for us. And, we've done a lot on Forecor. You've learned the right way coming into this business, not to just sell one product. Now, you're crushing it in the Medicare space, but you've really been able to, in a very short time, cross-market other products where there's not only a legitimate need, but a true need that some of these people maybe weren't aware of before you came out there and done it. So it's a holistic planning opportunity, and I think that's the biggest value proposition difference we have as a group. And also a big one is the ability for people to kind of brand and grow their own agency. And I think Tom really is the one of the best examples of that. Again, someone that I kind of saw from his infancy in this business at the captive space, and watched him grow. By the way, you're killing him in the first time frame you've been on here, and that's not a knock on Tom. Tom would have probably done similar numbers. I won't say worse or better, because Tom's pretty competitive too. But you coming over and being able to model his vision, coming from the captive space, your numbers are tremendous, and it also speaks volumes of Tom, and it speaks volumes of the difference between the captive and the independent side. But tell us a little bit about your partnership with Arisco Insurance Group and Tom, and maybe some of the things that you guys are building.
Sure. I mean, I think just starting out, you know, last August, so it'll be a year for me next month. Um, you know, when I first passed the test and, you know, we sat down, started making calls right away, going out into the field. Pretty much all, you know, everything I've learned is, you know, through Tom, you know, which is great. He really showed me the way of how he does things. You know, he told me from the start, you know, you could take, you know, what I do and add a little bit to it of how you would do things or do it the same way as me. And I think I've reflected a lot, you know, that Tom does, and it's worked. You know, going right into annual enrollment was huge. I think it was the best time to get in. You know, so I think anyone that's looking to come into the business, a great time to start is, you know,
Right now.
summertime,
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
You know, and Tom, you know, I know when he first started in the independent space, he was going out there working 6-7 days a week, you know, working on the referral side. And you know, I will say Tom has a very honorable referral basis from family, clients, friends, and that's something that I strive to be one day. So Tom and I's partnership, you know, has been great. You know, I think we see eye to eye when it comes to business, and we're really working on the recruiting side. You know, I want to build, you know, my own agency together, you know, with Tom. You know, down the road, I got a guy coming in soon. I have one, you know, by the end of the year. So I think just showing people the potential of the growth in this business, of where you can be in, you know, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you know, is huge. You know, and that's our partnership that we're working on there. Because, you know, the worst thing I think is being in a job that you're extremely unhappy about. And that was kind of a spot where I was before I got into insurance. So I'd like to, you know, give back to other people and, you know, provide them with the resources, you know, through a Risco Insurance Group, and provide them with what Four-Core can offer them, starting out with contracting and training. So, yeah, I mean, it's been great, and you know, it's all uphill from here.
You know, I think the part of this area of where we are in terms of the interview, you've hit on this a couple of times, is that, you know, and I was working in a marketing role, just like you were working in the law enforcement role, and, you know, if someone is cutting you a check, or in 2023 terms, is giving you a direct deposit, you're an employee. So when you look at working with a Risco Insurance Group, working with Four-Core, you are really you're building something for yourself. And you know why I want to know a little bit more about your partnership with a Risco Insurance Group is Tom came from a space where he couldn't send emails, he couldn't send text messages, he couldn't brand, he couldn't market. And coming over here, when we created the Four-Core model, is you come over here and you build your business whatever way you like. And what I'm so excited about right now is that, you know, not only is Tom having a lot of success building his own agency, he's bringing in guys like you that we're now going to say you're almost like the grandchild here in the situation where now you're building your agency and you're able to fulfill your dreams. And the big winner in this scenario is not a corporate entity, it's Mike Pino, you know. And I know Tom, from talking to him about you coming on board and some of the goals that he wanted to see you achieve, you can brand on your own, you can market on your own, you can develop people the way you want to develop people, you can get involved in different career paths in terms of agents focusing on different models, you know. So those things are very, very exciting. And where the partnerships really come in is that, you know, Tom is willing to give up his time to help you build your agency, you know, versus, you know, you're putting in the time to grow Tom's agency, or you're putting in the time to grow Four-Core's agency. Sure. You're growing an agency where, and you're young, so you have a little bit of work life ahead of you. You know, you're building up a saleable asset that you can take into your retirement if you choose to, or get out of the business at a certain point in your life and be able to say you've accomplished a lot, and now maybe you want to go try to do something else. Mm-hmm. You know, you had mentioned this a couple times, and you know, bringing people on board is something that we have a different vision of that now coming over to the independent side as an entity. So, we came from the space where you had to interview so many people just to try to sustain the work environment, and it was very, very difficult. Now we're very kind of selective of who we bring on board. We don't mass recruit, and I know you're not looking to do mass recruiting, and I want to make sure for people that are watching they kind of see that we really want to bring on people, one at a time, slowly develop people, get them excited about the career path, show them how to do it. So again, not only is it the Mike Pino agency, but now it's the Joe Smith that wants to build their own little agency, and kind of grow through that. So what kind of skills would you be looking for right now in candidates if you wanted to, if you're looking to bring some people on and build your team? So what are some of the skill sets you think that they would need to possess for you, Mike?
Sure, yeah, and I think the proper skill set is the biggest thing with developing someone in this business. So I think just having someone on board that's willing to learn, and willing to just be a sponge, and just take in everything that this business entails. Consistency comes with that, drive, and I think just having in your mind of, the place that you're in, when it comes to your workplace, whether you own a business, whether you're a W-2 employee, whether you're currently a 1099, whatever you're currently doing, no matter what career path you're in, just thinking of, the unhappiness that you currently have, and just seeing that the grass is greener on the other side, and just keeping that in your mind that I came from here and now I'm here. I think just working every single day, not being afraid to go out there and go out of your comfort zone. That was the biggest thing for me. I mean, I was totally going out of my comfort zone. Never owned a business before, never, worked for myself before. Always had a boss. So I think just being able to take all that in, and just run with it, is the biggest skill set I think that somebody just needs to have. Don't be afraid to, just step outside of the box and see the bigger picture. If you're currently in a place where you're unhappy, you're looking to make a change, not really sure what you want to do, I think this is a great field to at least entertain. We could sit down and have a conversation, go over the different things that we do offer, Medicare, life insurance, and even on the financial side. So there are a lot of opportunity here, that you might not have now. So I think just somebody, that is willing to take in everything that we can offer, and just work at it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes at first, and we could properly train someone to move forward, with success.
Yeah, and again, you just hit on a lot of the things that I think are so important. Bringing people on board, you want people that have a vision, that can see what's going to end up happening, and it's not a career where you have to be the smartest person in the world to do this field, and it doesn't knock us folks that are in the business, but some of the tools that are available for people today, God, I wish I had those tools when I started 24 years ago. So like you said, if someone is trainable and they come in, that's someone you're looking for, right? Mm-hmm. If someone is willing to put in the time and the work, that success level, is one of the reasons, not the primary reason, I think, for you in your success right now. But you haven't really thought too much. You've put the time in, and as you're learning and growing, it's building very rapidly, because you like you said, you've made mistakes along the way, which everybody's going to be able to do, but you're making mistakes faster. And the reason you're making those mistakes faster, Mike, is because you're putting the time in early on, and you're catapulting past other people. What that leads to, and kind of wrapping up where we are today, is, people have perceptions. And in this business, if you can listen, and listen attentively. If you cannot answer the questions that you're talking to people, which a lot of people unfortunately try to do, they think of what the answer is going to be before they listen to the person. And, you know, why I say perception is they'll say, oh, people aren't going to do this, or people are never going to do this. Well, have you, some of those perceptions probably been answered for you already, right? No one's going to let you know, you were a police officer. No one's just going to let you into their house to sit down and talk to them about insurance, but they
Right.
do every day, right? No one's going to give you a check that same day for $100,000 for an annuity or whatever, yet they do. So, you know, I think for anyone that's listening that, you know, knows Mike or wants to get into the business, I don't know there's a younger or hungrier person out there that you would want to work with other than Mike. You know, Mike is working really hard. He's got the skill set. He's putting in the time. He's understanding the importance of prospecting, involved in some organizations already. You were at a meeting today trying to build your network, build your business. By the way, that's free pretty much, right? You didn't pay for that, but
No.
you paid for it in time, right? Because you're investing that time. So, I would say, I said a couple of times, I'm one of Mike's biggest fans here. If you are looking for a career opportunity, reach out to Mike. I can tell you right now, it's not something where it's just a career. It's your business. You own it. Mike will develop you, and you'll be really enjoying your lifestyle much better in the long run entering into a field like this. So, Mike, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Joe.